Hi, and welcome to or welcome back to the Global Holistic Wellness channel. This is the conversation continues where I, a clinical mental health therapist, have coffee with my mom, who is a life coach, and we're both wellness experts, and we sit here and we share our morning conversations with you. Today, we're talking about romance, keeping that romance alive, and how to make a long-term relationship work. Okay, so both of us have been in long-term relationships. I've been married. I feel like I was like a child's bride. So when I say I've been with my husband for over 24 years, I won't age me too much. I feel like a child bride. When people say, "How long have you been married?" I usually say it feels like 100 years. And you have been with your partner now 19 years. So both of us get this question a lot from our clients and also people who sign up for our courses. What's our secret to keeping that romance alive, keeping that love alive, and sticking out and making a long term relationship work? So, we're going to give you guys each three of our top favorite tips for this. So, it's not going to be a complete list, but we're going to give you some of our favorite. The best one we're saving for last. So, you're going to want to watch this all the way through. Okay, so for me, my number one would be to stick it out. And what I mean by that is we're human. We go through cycles of conflict. There are definitely going to be days, even if you're married to your soulmate, where you hate them and you want to pack your bags and you want to run for the hills. And so, my advice is always this too shall pass most of the time. So, love is like a roller coaster. When it's up, enjoy when it's up, and when it's down, be patient because usually it comes back around. So, I like to give a rule for that. So, give it 30 days, just like with buying a gun or any other big life choices, give yourself time before you say it out loud. And with that, I would say that choose your battles. Not everything that happens needs to be addressed. So if you're steaming about something one day, give yourself a couple of days and see if it just fades away. With some of my clients, I'll recommend when you're upset about something, writing it down and either taking it to session and working it through with somebody to see if it needs to be addressed with your partner. Because a lot of times it's something on our end we're working through. Now, it's not to say that's always the case. So sometimes you do give it a week and it's still something that you want to address, but by then you're calmer, so you can talk it through in a more eloquent way. So I would start by saying, don't run for the hills when things get hard. Stick it out. Sometimes you might need a little help, like couples coaching or couples counseling. Don't be afraid to ask for help. But this too shall pass. Like usually what goes up comes down, right? So just riding that out. And then when you're heated, not everything needs to be said. Let the small stuff go, right? Don't sweat the small stuff. Let the small stuff go. So that would be my number one. What's your number one?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that is so good. I feel like we could spend the whole session just on that. So that was a great coaching tip. And I also say to my clients when I'm doing couples coaching, it's not the couples that never hit the bump in the road or the challenges. It's the ones that figure out how to navigate through it that end up with really the best relationships, or I say the pot of the gold at the end of the rainbow. That really helps build that strong foundation. So yeah, great number one, G. I guess I want to share for my number one some of the best relationship advice that I ever got, and it was a dear friend who it was also quite a spiritual master. And we had a very good talk one day. And he started by saying to me, he said, Lisa, he said, I want to say that you have this quality that you go right to the soul. Like when you meet someone, you see the best in them. And he said, that's so wonderful. He said, don't ever lose that. And then he said, however, and then I'm like, okay, here it comes. And then he said, however, when choosing a mate, he said, it's not about going right for the soul. He said, because then you'd be able to be with anyone. He said,
Right.
you actually have to look at the human choices. Who are their friends? What are their behaviors? What are their likes, dislikes, hobbies? He said, those are the things that need to align with you. Those are the things you need to question. Is this someone that I want to walk this path with? because the companionship is really important, and having not just things in common. I'm not talking about that, because you can have different likes and dislikes, but the main core values and
Mm.
behaviors really need to line up. And it's also important that we see someone as they are, not that potential or who they could be. And only if I help them and change them, they will become the best version of themselves. No, no, no. Take a look. This was the advice I got. Take a look at the human as they are right now in this moment, their choices, their behaviors, and see if they align with yours. And then continue to see the best and to see, go right to the soul with everyone else. But when choosing a mate, make sure to look at those human choices. I found that to be so good.
That is so good. And as I'm hearing you talk about like go beyond the superficial to making sure your morals and values, like the important stuff align. I think about how back in the day, and in some cultures and churches still do this, is that a couple that want to get married would meet with their spiritual leader or counselor
Mhm.
or priest and talk through some of those big things.
Good point. Yes.
Right? And we don't do that
Yep.
anymore
We don't
culturally.
do that.
And the other thing that you said that just was like, I just wanted to like start snapping. It's so important is don't take on a project. Like, don't try to fix it, right? Don't take on a project like somebody who will be great if,
Right.
if only or when they change, right? Whoever you're dating and when you're starting to think about whether or not you can make this work, assume that they are showing up as they are, right? And who they are, and don't take that on. And if you are somebody who's attracted to the fixer upper type, get with a good therapist and work through that because
No,
man, time is
no.
money. We don't have all that time. All right, so good choices. And so what I'm hearing you say for your number one, what I really love and I do agree with is just really putting some effort into making sure you're choosing correctly and you're choosing
Yes.
someone who like really can walk the path with you.
Yes.
And that kind of leads me to my number two, which when I was thinking about, now being with the same man since college and how, what really is a secret behind that or what has been some of the challenges, I think about how hard it is to let each other change because you fall in love with a person, like what you're saying, like out the gate, you fall in love with a person because of some of those personality things that align. Like we love to hike, we love the same music, we're both really fit, we're this or that, right? And then over time, if you're with somebody a really long time, you hope they change and you hope you change, right? I mean, I don't want to be the same person I was in college. I'm glad that I changed or I'm glad that he's
Absolutely.
changed. I don't want to be the same, but at the same time, it's really hard to let the other person change. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we either hold each other prisoner to the past or we cling to pieces of the person that we feel like is like truly them and they're trying to tell us through growth like hey, this is a part of who I am but I'm also expanding and I need that space to feel like I can express this part of myself now and that may or may not align with where you're at that particular time, but that kind of reminds me too of like staying the course, right? And not jumping ship because maybe your partner is starting to get into something like woodwork or wood whittling and you're like, "Oh God, this is something that I'm never going to be interested in. It's taking up so much time." But then next year you do become interested in it or they drop it or you figure out, that becomes part of your separate time, which we'll get to, which is really important. But for my number two, I would say let each other grow and change, give each other space to explore different versions of yourself. Because if you're with somebody that long time, what a gift to give somebody to be able to say, hey, I love you. I love the way you're showing up now, and I'll still love you in all the different versions of yourself that will be created along the way.
Again, it's such a great point. And one of the things that you said that really stuck out for me was the importance of not holding somebody prisoner to the past. And and,
Yes.
and, and again, that's a whole topic in itself. But it's so important even when we jump ahead, like you think you know what the person's going to say or how they're going to react or behave, and just as Gina was saying, leave space for the changes, leave space for the positive changes and for who they're becoming. I love that. I
Mhm.
guess for my number two now, I would offer a quality time.
Good.
I think in today's modern, fast-paced schedule world that we're living in, I really do think relationships are taking a hit
Yes.
because of the lack of quality time. It's so important. Uh, I remember hearing this analogy for relationships. It was compared to a house plant. When the house plant is doing really well, it's thriving, and you're rushing to work and you take a look, oh, I got to water the plant. Oh, wait a minute, no, it's doing great. I'll water it tomorrow. And then, the next day, same thing happens. You're rushing out the door with your coffee. Oh, man, I got to water that plant. Oh, no, it's doing great. I'll make sure to water it tomorrow. And, the next thing you know, you look at the plant and it's, almost dead. So then you try to water it like crazy to bring it back to life, or it's too late. So we want to water the relationships when they're thriving. We don't want to wait till there's a problem. So quality time, what I'm talking about is actually having time to just talk. It could be coffee talk or tea talk, where the phones are, put away, and it's uninterrupted. How was your day? Simple things like that. It can also be a scheduled date night. It can be a date night even twice a month. But my point is that we need time where we're not pulled to the computer, we're not pulled to the phone, and even when it's so difficult, when we have little ones, and of course the little ones are going to come first, as they should. But it's really important to carve out some time where you can have time to catch up and to check in. So my number two is definitely going to be quality time. The last little plug I'll give for the quality time is, if you can, I like to suggest a walk and talk.
Oh, good.
Oftentimes, after dinner, you'll sit on the couch and maybe catch up or not and turn the TV on. Go ahead and just go for a walk. And it can be a short walk. It could be a 20-minute walk. Somebody takes the first 10 minutes and shares their day uninterrupted. And then you take the next 10 minutes, or whoever might need to talk first goes first. But it could be 15 minutes each, make a 30-minute walk. But take your talk walking. It's absolutely wonderful. You get some exercise and you get to catch up.
Yes, yes, thank you for that. And I want to underline the word quality time, because I work with a lot of couples who say, we spend so much time together. And then I say, well, what are you guys doing? And they're like, well, we work from home. I'm like, well, that's not really time together, right? That's time in the same physical space, but you're not really being present with each other. So really underlying that quality time. And it makes me think of the book, Getting the Love You Want, and simple little tricks in that book. They said, even if you're on your computer or on your phone and your spouse or your partner walks in the door, the act of taking that computer screen and shutting it down and looking up and making eye contact and saying, "Hey, welcome
Yeah.
home. How was your day?" Or taking your phone and visually putting it down and
Yes.
making that eye contact is signaling, like, I care. And I think in long-term relationships, what gets challenging is you start to take each other for granted. And so you get into these kind of patterns of time together, but not quality time. So I love that so much. And then I'm gonna kind of like take the pendulum and go the other direction and say, so yes, quality time is super important. But for me, I've noticed that it's also important to have time apart and quality time alone. And what I mean by that is that, and this is a controversial take. I know, I get some pushback when I say this, but I do really think it's important to have time alone when you're in a long term relationship. What I mean by that is maybe having hobbies that are separate, or maybe once a year, taking a weekend trip with your girlfriends, or your partner gets to go with their friends for the weekend. I can't even express how many couples I work with that there's so much, like, it comes across as jealousy, but fear of letting the partner like go away for the
Yes.
weekend without them, or go
Yes.
out for a night, and
Yes.
I feel like that fear, it's detrimental to that trust piece of it, but also to the human
Mhm.
experience, because when you're walking beside someone for 25 years, I mean, it would be, in my opinion, unrealistic and cruel to say you can't have any time away from me, right? Almost like possessive from that point of view. So if you're somebody who like resists this, I would be curious, I would suggest get curious about where that resisting is coming from. Because for me, I need, and it has nothing to do with my husband. I love my husband. I love spending time with my husband, but I need to go away by myself. I need to take trips by myself. I need to sometimes go hiking by myself. I need to have hobbies outside of the marriage. It's important to keeping myself clear on who I am and having that silence that we talk about in other podcasts, just kind of time to connect with who you are outside of the relationship. Because a lot
Yes.
of things, a lot of times I see too is like couples losing themselves in the relationship. So
Yes.
just like being true to who you are, keeping quality time together, but also holding on to quality time apart, and letting that just be a lovely expression of the relationship instead of wrapping fear around that time apart, like showing up in a space of like, of course you can go, camping with your friends this weekend, like I love that for you, and then getting a little excited like, what am I going to do alone, like yay, starfish in the
So
back.
good.
Yeah.
So
So
good. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, keep that time apart too.
Yeah, because you need to maintain your own identity. And,
Yeah,
you know, when you think about when couples meet, like the person that you fall in love with, that person you fell in love with had come that entire distance without you.
yeah,
That person had their own likes, dislikes, and so forth, and that's the person you fell in love with. You don't want them to lose that, and your mate doesn't
exactly.
want you to lose you.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add is in my own personal experience that time apart helps you appreciate the other person more. Like,
Absolutely.
right? Because like a lot of times we look at something from the outside and we come back with so much gratitude and so much like a different perspective of what we have. Sometimes we
Yeah.
can get lost in what we have.
And I'm going to move into my third coaching tip for healthy long term relationships and just healthy relationships in general. I'm going to take off that word gratitude and dive into it. There was a study done on couples and finding the two most important words in a healthy relationship. And I've talked about this before, because a lot of people will go right to either love you or I'm sorry, which are extremely important words. However, the most important two words was thank you. And I really
Mm.
want to impress upon all of you listening the importance of appreciation. We all want to feel appreciated. And a simple little thank you goes a long way. It's amazing how many times I hear myself say thank you to my guy. And it could be a cup of coffee, it could be folding the towels or making the bed, or just any little things that normally can go unnoticed in, again, our fast-paced society. So take a moment and notice the little things, and make sure to say thank you. And as far as relationships in general, take that thank you to the office. Take that thank you to your sister, brother, family members. Uh, I can't say enough how wonderful it feels to be appreciated. And you know how it feels. So give that gift to your loved ones. Thank you. That's my third most important, I believe, tip for nourishing and fertilizing healthy relationships.
It's so important. And sometimes like the simplest advice is the truest and the most meaningful, right? Like how much we just take each other for granted. And those two
Yes.
little words, thank you, can go so far. And it makes me think about like the need for all of us to feel seen in a relationship and feel like our positive qualities and our efforts are landing. And that's just so important. So it's a way to say to your partner, if you think of like an act of service or an expression of love is they're throwing a ball at you. Saying thank you is saying I caught this. Like I saying I got
Like
you,
it.
I got this. I see the ever, right?
I
Um,
love that.
Right. And so we have a lot of gratitude for our viewers. So we are offering on our website a self-care, self-love workshop for the month of February, downloadable. It is so affordable, it's ridiculous. So if that's something you're interested in, you can check that out on our website, www.globalholisticwellness.com. And if you want to give yourself some self-love this year, then we would strongly encourage you to check out our retreats. We have a retreats page on our website. We've got Costa Rica dates posted, Colorado dates are coming. Check that out. Take care of yourself. Putting the oxygen mask on yourself, right, is another great way to keep that relationship going. And we will see you guys next week.
See you next week.